excited.
No.
You're not excited. Why are you not excited to pass your knowledge on to the younger generation?
Because I've tried that and people haven't listened.
People are not listening to you? Maybe if I put it on a video, they will listen time and time again until they know it.
Maybe.
What are we going to do today? What are you going to show us on QLab?
Well, I'm going to show you how to make a new QLab workspace and add some music to it.
Okay, cool.
So you go to File, New Workspace. It opens a new workspace.
But what if we want your scripts that you've written? How would we do that?
You'd hit File, New from Template. You'd select Template with Scripts. Hit Select, and it opens it up.
Okay. And so, what is the use of QLab? Why don't I just play my music through iTunes?
Because with QLab you can organize it.
Okay.
You can do things like fade cues out, make them follow each other.
Okay.
And you can play with the information in the audio cue. So if you want to add some cues, you just select some audio files.
Okay.
Drag them in. And they're in here.
Okay.
Some basic things you can do with them. You can give them numbers.
Okay.
You can number them anything, including edit letters.
Okay.
You can set it so...
So just call that guy 9K, right?
I numbered it. 9K.
You numbered it 9K. Okay.
So you can rename it to anything you want. And you can make it, you can disable it by hitting the arm button. You can give it a new color if you like. You can give it a hotkey, so if you want to play the song, you just need to hit H.
Okay.
So if you just hit H, it starts to play. And hitting escape will kill anything running.
Okay.
So if you want things to follow immediately after you're done with your cue,
Hang on, let me zoom in here.
Set the continue to auto follow or auto continue. Auto continue makes it so the next cue plays immediately.
So you'd actually have two tracks playing at once.
Yes. Auto follow makes it so it follows the other cue.
Okay. And do you use either of those? Auto continue seems like it would be kind of useless, right?
No, it's very useful.
Okay.
It's,
Even though it's when you're trying to use two things at the same time.
Yes, like when I
two
was,
sound cues.
Like when I was for the Beauty and the Beast on other shows, QLab, to fade multiple cues simultaneously, we had the fade cues auto continue to the next fade cue.
Okay.
So I just find where that is.
So we're pulling up our old Beauty and the Beast master for QLab.
Mm-hmm. So this is an example of an older show.
Mm-hmm.
Where we had the machine noises start, and then we had it continue on an infinite loop. But to do that, we had the start. We had the running auto follow the start. So as soon as this first cue played, it would start playing the second one.
Auto follow, but
yeah.
But not auto continue.
Yes, but when we hit the fade and stop machine start, it would play through fade, the machine running, and the machine start, and play the howl noise.
Okay. So all of those four things were running at once.
Yes.
It was a fade and stop of the machine start. It was a fade and stop of the machine running.
Yes.
And it was also the howling.
Mm-hmm. So just auto continue and play all of that at once.
Okay.
So in QLab you have multiple types of cues. You have a group queue, which is just a collection of other queues. You can just come up here and grab the group queue, drag it in, and you can move any number of queues into this group. And you can also rename and renumber group queues.
Okay, within the group.
Yeah. There's the audio queues which you add, which are just your basic audio files that plays them. You have mic queues. We never use these because we have the board, but I assume you just play it and then start picking up on a mic you have plugged in. You have video queues, which you can drag images or videos in. Let's see what this is.
And that's not going to be so useful for us at James Clemens here in the sound booth.
Not in the sound booth.
We could do it up there in the video booth.
Yeah. So when you run these ones, when you run the video cues, it just plays the image on the screen. We have camera cues. We have title cues, which I believe...
Camera cues means that the QLab would be linked to a live camera?
Yes, and it'd play the camera feed.
Okay.
And the title cues, you can select a text, type in some text, and it just displays it on the screen. Similar to a video cue.
So essentially, if I wanted to, if I had a collection of videos and or songs, I could, instead of like trying to throw a PowerPoint together, I could essentially build a PowerPoint within this program.
Yes. Pretty
Easily.
Yeah.
Could I overlap a title on top of a video and picture? Or would I want to do that in a video editing software and then drag it into there?
You'd want to do it in a video editing software, but you may be able to.
It just might be a little more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. It can overlay, but it'd be better to do it in that software.
Right.
You also have OSC, MIDI file, and timecode queues. We probably won't use these. They're for sending the specific signals they say, or playing a MIDI file.
But if I ever wanted to connect QLab with my lighting board, with MIDI, or even with the soundboard, I could essentially run my whole show from QLab, correct?
Yes, you can.
If I wanted to.
You can tell it to output a specific MIDI signal to any device you have plugged in.
But QLab currently doesn't talk to our soundboard, the GLD80.
It does not currently. Then you have a start queue, a stop queue, and a pause queue, which just do what they say. You bring them in. So this is a start queue. Then you give them a target, which will be the target number. So if you hit 9K into the target and play the start queue, it'll start track number 9K.
Okay. And that's just the play button? Or?
Yes, that's just the play button. There's also a start, stop, and pause, but they work the same way.
Okay. But why is that functionally important to have a start, stop, and pause when if I've got my targets loaded into QLab, why do I even need that?
I'm not sure. I haven't used them myself.
Okay. You haven't used them at all in a show?
No. And
effectively QLab, the way that it arms everything is once you got your target highlighted, you just hit the space bar.
Yes. If you hit the space bar on a selected queue, it plays that queue.
And the default to QLab is once a cue is finished playing, is it done?
Yes.
It won't auto follow or auto continue unless we tell it to, correct?
Yes, it will just stop. And then you have some other cues like reset, devamp, go to, target, arm, disarm, wait, and memo. Memo is basically just a comment. Put it in, you can name it something, but it doesn't do anything.
Okay.
If you try and play it, it just goes to the next cue. Go to, or where's go to? Go to, if you select a target number, it'll just take you to that cue but won't play it. Devamp, if you have a cue that's running infinitely, like on a cue on an infinite loop, the devamp cue will make it stop looping. So once the next time it finishes, it'll just stop
Okay.
instead of just looping again.
So if it's active and I want it to end, I can just hit the devamp key.
Yes.
If it's on an infinite loop.
Yeah. And it'll end once it finishes up.
Okay.
Then wait. It just adds a wait in. So once you play it, it just takes up that amount of time.
Okay.
So you can use that for timing of cues.
Can you show us the settings screen?
Yes. This is setting screen.
Okay.
You can make it autoplay a cue once you load it. You can change the size of the cues, like the size of the cue actual buttons. And you can just rebind keys.
What did that back there say? Panic duration. What does that mean?
When you hit escape, it panics, so it kills it. It fades it really quickly over 1 second. You can adjust that time. In the screen, you can change the audio patching. So if you have multiple output devices, you can change what audio patch goes to which device. Change default levels for new cues.
And that's the audio patch would be if we were actually connected to our soundboard.
It's more of if you have, let's say, like a USB audio card, you could patch that into one of these and you can have it play to not the default audio device.
Sure. Hey.